This is a podcast about both having autism and living with someone who has autism. My mom is Sonya, and I'm Josh, and this is Josh Has Autism.
Hey everybody, welcome to Josh Has Autism.
Hello.
So happy you're here. You feeling good? Feeling bad? Tired?
I'm tired.
Cranky?
No.
No? Good. Alright. Alright, good deal.
Yeah.
Today I want to talk about something that we've talked about a few different times, but I want to go in deeper and talk about a treatment plan that you've not had before. So what I want to talk about is depression.
Oh boy.
And again, still.
Yeah, still.
Yeah. And it's gotten worse.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. It comes in bouts.
Mm-hmm.
At least for me it does.
Mm-hmm.
This last time lasted about a week,
Mm-hmm.
where it was just, I was just lethargic. It removed my will to do anything, even the things I usually enjoy.
Right.
And
Like eating.
I had no appetite. I had absolutely no appetite.
It's like, what did you do with Josh?
I know.
Right. Because that is one of your favorite things to do. So, it's not that you sit around and eat all the time, but you enjoy mealtime.
Yeah.
No appetite, which is really strange.
Yeah.
Yeah. There's something that was felt different about this, though. In the past, when you have dealt with depression, which has been for years, you've dealt with it for years, and in the past, you might lose interest in activities, not really want to be, go out and do things, not really want to spend time with any of us, at home. Just really want to be by yourself. This was very different, though. This is that version where you stayed in bed and slept a lot.
Yeah, at least 17 hours a day.
Yeah.
It was ridiculous.
Yeah. And I was worried if you were sick.
Yeah.
Because of all this virus that's going around.
Right.
Were you wiped out from something, a virus, or were you? But no, you don't have a fever. You're not achy. You just are exhausted.
Yeah.
I guess I'm using that word. I don't know.
Exhausted isn't really the right word.
Mm-hmm.
But yeah, I was exhausted.
What do you mean? If it's not the right word, use the right word.
It wasn't that exactly. It was similar though.
Mm-hmm.
It
was fatigue.
Sort of. I'm not sure what the right word is.
Yeah.
It was better for me to be asleep than it was awake.
Why?
Because I don't know, but I do know one thing.
What?
Usually, whenever I'm not feeling depressed, or at least as depressed as I was,
right,
this last week, usually I maybe have a dream or two a night that I am aware of.
Right.
But they're like short ones. You know what I mean?
Right.
They're normal dreams length. Whenever I have bouts of depression, though, my dreams last for hours. It feels like it even in the dreams.
Well, you're sleeping more, so could that have something to do with it? That you're getting, you're asleep for longer periods of time, so your dreams naturally would go longer? Or you don't think maybe that there's a connection there? Are they more vivid?
Yeah. And it's one huge dream. Like, I don't remember the dreams exactly, but I remember my alarm going off at 9 o'clock, and I remember...
Yeah, right.
Yeah.
I don't want to get up.
Yeah, and so I turned my alarm off and went back to sleep.
Mm-hmm.
That was at 9 o'clock.
Mm-hmm.
I woke up like 12.
Mm-hmm.
And the dream finished then.
The same dream.
The same dream continued from where I woke up and went back to sleep, and then it finally ended.
But you don't remember what you
No.
were dreaming. They weren't nightmares though?
No.
It wasn't scary?
No.
Okay.
I mean, one of them might have been an action movie. I don't know.
Right. So, when you sleep and you would wake up, did you feel super tired more so than...
Than usual?
Yes.
No.
So when you were awake and...
Whenever I was awake, and then I'd take a nap in the middle of the evening.
Yeah. So I was going to say when you're up and functioning, but that didn't really happen.
Right.
So when you were awake, that functioning was kind of non-existent.
Yeah.
And I say that this is different, and I realize that we've talked about depression before on the podcast.
Mm-hmm.
But this is different. This feels like a more intense depression, certainly debilitating,
Mm-hmm.
and one where you had a hard time. Well, we can differentiate, but let me just finish this train of thought as to what this one was. The lack of concentration, lack of focus. Now, those are terms that we've used with you before, just in general, right?
Right.
But there was really just...
Lack of everything.
Affect.
Yeah.
Yes.
I was almost lethargic.
Yeah, I would say you were.
It didn't quite feel like lethargy to me.
Okay.
Because I wasn't just constantly drowsy or constantly just out of it. Because whenever I was awake. I just had no will to do anything.
Right. Have you been unhappy?
Not unhappy per se.
Mm-hmm.
Down, yes.
Sure.
But not necessarily unhappy.
Okay. All right. Depression can happen to anybody, no matter how great life seems. Somebody can say, I have everything I've always wanted.
Mm-hmm.
Why do I feel this way?
Yeah.
You know, it's like, why do I feel this depression? Why can't I, just get over this? Why can't I just get out of bed and get on with it? My life is great. Why does it feel so overwhelming?
I've heard
right now?
I've heard that rich people deal with that a lot.
Sure. Yeah.
Because sometimes with wealth and power and stuff like that, that's not the fulfilling stuff. But that's a whole different topic, I think.
Yeah. Probably. I'm willing to give it a shot.
What, of being rich?
Yeah. Yeah, yes. I'll go out, I'll be the scout, and I'll report back.
From your yacht.
My yacht. Yes. One time, but then again, you do with what you have. There was
Yes.
one time that Dad and I, it was our anniversary,
Mm-hmm.
and he had lost his job because he had a job, and his job was to get a company set up and ready to sell.
Mm-hmm.
He did that, and when the company sold, he didn't have a job.
Yeah.
So we didn't have a job, and it was our anniversary, and we lived up in Pennsylvania by Pinchot Park
Mm-hmm.
Lake.
Yeah.
And we said we went out on our we went on a cruise for our anniversry because
Your
we went down
honeymoon
and,
cruise, so
yeah,
to speak.
Yeah, for our anniversary because we went down and rented a canoe.
Yeah.
And went all around the lake on a canoe. So that was our cruise. So I guess when I bring that up to say that it is what you make it.
Yeah.
Yeah. So
And then there was the time that Haley flipped over her canoe in there, and we were all at home.
Oh my gosh, Haley was down at that same lake with her friend, and her friend's parents, and then we saw this ambulance fly by the house, this fire truck fly by the house, and I went, no. No. Well, sure enough, Haley and her friend had gotten out just waist deep. I think it wasn't. They were not.
They could reach the bottom. Yeah.
Sure, they were not in any danger, but they were
laughing and having a good time.
Teenage girls, and it alarmed people that were on the shore.
Yeah.
They couldn't tell that they were just goofing around.
Yeah, so, even though their boat had flipped.
It did flip. And they went in the water, and then they were, laughing and, having a great time. But yeah, I remember that. I remember that fire truck going, I'm going, no.
And it was.
Yeah, it was. Yeah. Unfortunately, that one turned out great.
Did you say unfortunately or fortunately?
Fortunately.
Oh, fortunately.
Fortunately.
Okay.
Fortunately, that turned out great. Yeah, that would be bad. Yes. Yeah. So today you do seem a bit better, and thank you so much. We didn't do a podcast last week.
Yeah.
And people were asking about that, worried about that, because and what happened, so that everybody knows, Josh was in no condition to do a podcast. Things were pretty stressful. We talked before about Nana, and Nana was not doing well, and there was just a lot of medical issues going on, and things to be addressed, and it just wasn't. And I was pretty stressed, like over the top, with trying to help everybody feel better.
Yeah.
Try to come down to, like, what is the issue here?
Yeah.
How do we help? How do I help things to move forward?
Yeah. Plus SSI stuff.
Oh my gosh, SSI. Yes. Yep. So, I did not tell you this, I don't believe. I heard back from the congressman in regards to this. We'll put this in parentheses. That heard back from the congressman's office, and he has addressed Social Security Administration on your behalf.
Oh,
he's getting contact with them, and we'll find out what happens there.
Okay.
So that's a little side note. This is what we're talking about today. But yes, so it turned all that stuff back in. The congressman on your behalf is involved. So we'll see what happens. Yeah. Yeah. At this point, it's just we'll wait, see what happens.
Yeah.
And then until we hear back from them as to they'll approve it, because I appealed it, and they'll approve you or they'll say no, and then there's a hearing phase of it. And then after the hearing phase of it, let's just say we go to the hearing phase, and then they say no, we have one more step we can go after that. And it's kind of like a court date kind of a thing.
Okay.
So anyway, yes, I'm actually glad you brought that up, because that is something that we've been talking about quite a bit.
Yeah.
We've taken care of. But this depression that you had been dealing with this time around, it's interesting with depression and with you, is that it doesn't seem to be precipitated by events or by experiences.
Right.
So it's not like a sadness, like you're disappointed in something, therefore it leads to a depression.
Right.
There's also, when you're depressed like this, are there situations that when you're in there and you're feeling this lack of interest and motivation and connection?
Yeah. It's honestly almost like a melancholy.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm. And I know that my best friend in the world, Karen Rontowski, if anybody listen to this podcast, you want to laugh, go to KarenRontowski.com. She's a hysterical comedian and wonderful. She reads tarot too. She's just fantastic. Anyway, she's called you. She this last week she's called you.
Yeah.
Does it make you feel better when you talk to her?
It certainly doesn't make me feel worse.
Because there's been times that she'll talk to you and say that she says that you sounded better.
Yeah.
Than other times.
Like at the end of our conversations or whatever, I usually am a bit more upbeat about it, about things, because she's funny and she gets me.
Yeah.
So.
Right.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's pretty cool.
Yeah.
So, the reason that we're bringing this up again, not just to talk about depression.
Or Karen.
But that it does seem to be worse now than it has been before. Yeah. And you've had this, I think probably you were, we've discussed this before. I think it was your first, it was ninth grade that the first time you ever, you fought the term depression, but you got put on an antidepressant at that age.
I thought I was a sophomore because it was Grandpa being sick.
I think it might have been ninth grade, actually.
Okay.
But anyway, it could have been 10th grade. I don't know. I have to go back and do math, and I don't want to. So, you've been on an antidepressant for that period of time. Now, there's been sections of time, little bits of time in between there where you've changed medication. One time you wanted to go off of it, and that didn't go well.
Right. There was a time I did go off of it and didn't tell you.
Yes. And that's the one that really didn't go well.
Yeah.
Because that really, that one hit you hard.
Oh my gosh, yeah.
Mm-hmm. So, but anyway, the reason that I'm bringing this up is because of this depression, I have been made aware, and therefore you've been made aware of a new to us
treatment.
Mm-hmm. So usually with depression, you try medication, you try psychotherapy, so that it
psychotherapy.
Psychotherapy it means basically.
That's actually the name of it?
Yeah, psychiatrist and therapy is psychotherapy.
That's hilarious.
Why?
Because I'm not a psycho.
I know you're not a psycho. I know.
Just the term I find funny.
I know. So
I mean, no offense to anyone who has that or anything like that. I just find that term funny. This
funny, you've never heard that term. This new to us treatment that's called TMS, and it stands for transcranial magnetic stimulation. And we're in the beginning steps of that treatment. And so tomorrow you have a session with the psychiatrist that's going to basically do your treatment plan for that. And transcranial magnetic stimulation, what that does is basically they're magnets.
Mm-hmm.
And
are they electromagnets or just magnets?
No. There's this thing from like the 60s that like started in the 30s and 40s, but it was called electroshock therapy. This is very different from that.
I know electromagnets just use electricity to magnify the effect of a magnet.
Right.
They don't.
But when you say electro, it reminds me of electroshock therapy, which is
very
I want to make
different.
I want to make a big distinction about this. That's the one where you have to, first of all, you have to be under anesthesia, and they shock your brain and the purpose is to cause seizures in your brain, thereby addressing the parts that are not maybe not firing off, correctly. And this is not that. This is. And I don't know if you ever saw this movie called One Flew Over the Cuckoo's Nest.
Oh, jeez.
It was this Nurse Ratched, and anyway, it was a excellent movie. Excellent movie. It was so good, and anyway, it shows that it's about that treatment being used and abused, and it wasn't cool whatsoever. But anyway. It has a when I first heard about them, like, it's what you want to do what, and I was like, no, I'm not gonna. And then no, I understand what this is now. So essentially, it's this machine, but it has this arm of the machine, and it's this let's say, what would you say this distance is, like hands Yes.
Yeah.
But like
Hand length.
Yes, your hand length, not mine. But
Well, yeah.
yeah, and essentially, there's magnets there.
Mm-hmm.
What you do is you go in and you get measured in this chair. They adjust everything. I shouldn't say measured, but they adjust everything to fit you just right.
Mm-hmm.
They
And
place
it's not just a flat magnet either. It's also slightly curved so that it can go to a specific part of the brain.
And that part is the left frontal lobe
Mm-hmm.
of the brain. So you sit there. You are scheduled to have a total of 38 treatments.
Mm-hmm.
What happens is, this is basically, the magnets are the strength of an MRI.
Yeah.
And what they do is they pulsate so it's like a 4-second stimulation and then a 26-second pause.
Mm.
Each treatment that you're going to be getting is 20 minutes long. You have to go for a total of 40 sessions, but 38 of them are actual treatments.
That means 40 pulses per session.
And so for 20 minutes, you go 5 days a week.
Mm-hmm.
The sessions last for 20 minutes,
Mm-hmm.
and it lasts for 6 weeks.
Okay.
And it cost $12,500. And we will find out this week. I was told that insurance is going to cover it.
Okay.
I don't know if that means they're going to cover it entirely,
Mm-hmm.
or if we're going to have a copay.
Yeah.
I imagine there is going to be a copay.
Yeah.
But it's not going to be $12,500.
Thank goodness.
Yes. But that's what they charge. What happens is, by doing this, it's there's like theories as to why it works, but there's no clear answers really. But the purpose is to address the depression circuit in the brain,
Mm-hmm.
essentially to wake it up.
Yeah.
Because depression, what way that it was described to me, and is that when you have depression, it's not those sections of your brain. It's just not firing. It's not awake.
Yeah.
And through these magnets, wake them up.
It's inducing activity.
Yes.
Yeah.
And I know magnets are very healing, so that doesn't seem scary to me. I was like, well, what about, is this harmful at all? And there's nothing that I read that would indicate that, but
Mm-hmm.
Yeah,
I
I might just not know about it. But what I'm saying is, I've not heard of any adverse reactions.
Right.
Except there are two things that can happen.
Mm-hmm.
And we'll find out how you deal with this, how it feels to you. But they did say that you could, after the sessions,
Mm-hmm.
you might have one of two or both. You could have a headache,
Mm-hmm.
or you could be lightheaded,
Mm-hmm.
a little bit kind of dizzy.
Yeah.
So, it's good for you to be, I'll take you to,
Mm-hmm.
clearly, I'll take you to all of your appointments.
Mm-hmm.
And if anybody's wondering, I know there's this COVID-19 out here, so how are we going to start this, already? Well, what happens is they have an office, and it's designed such that there's no more than 6 people in this office at a time,
Mm-hmm.
and it's very easy to stay away from
Everyone else.
everyone else. So
not only that, but they also have masks and everything that they give to their guests and everything.
right, when we go in, they give us masks, and they wear masks the
Yes.
entire time that we're there.
And gloves, I think.
Not for us.
No, for them.
Yeah, yes, they do. They do. So, insurance for insurance purposes anyway, they say that, and I don't believe that this is just our insurance. I think this is just across the board. That this therapy is recommended, and they're saying should be considered if at least 2 different types of antidepressants have been used
In the past.
in presently or in the past, and you're still dealing with depression,
Mm.
and you've tried 3.
Yeah.
So that's one reason why I'm saying that insurance has said that they're going to pay for some of it, because they recognize all the medications that you've tried. They recognize the treatments, the therapists, the counselors, and what have you.
Yeah.
This seems to have a really high rate of success.
Mm-hmm.
And I remember she told us figures, and I can't percentages.
It was 60% of the things are successful in the short run, and of that 60%, 24% are successful in the long run with not having depression.
Let me just say that I remember different percentages than that. I do remember reading up on it, and there were more people by far that said, some of them say I'm off medication, some of them say after the first couple of treatments I felt, it's completely different, and anyway, what it sounds like is this is something if it and it's new to me, it's new to you. It doesn't mean that it's new. But it's
electroshock therapy.
No. So I think that this is worth tomorrow. Let's see. Today is Mother's Day.
Yeah, today's Happy Mother's Day.
Thank you. Happy Mother's Day, everybody. So today we're a day late. We were supposed to have this podcast out yesterday.
Oh.
So we are running late.
Well, Happy Mother's Day, everybody.
Yeah. Yep. And so tomorrow you have the appointment with the doctor, and then Thursday you start the treatment. Next Thursday. So you'll have it Thursday and Friday, and then you'll have it Monday through Friday for then the next 5 weeks, I would guess, and then would finish up on the 6th week.
Yeah.
I would guess, because
you're
going to have
said.
38 in.
Yeah.
So, what do you think about it? Have you thought about it at all, or you haven't been thinking much about anything?
That.
Yeah. Okay. Well, I've been thinking about it enough for both of us. So, I really think that this, I'm very hopeful that this is going to be a positive experience for you.
Honestly, so am I.
Yeah.
Yeah, I'm also hopeful it'll work.
Yeah. And then also, this week, I'll be talking to the insurance company about there's a specialist, autism specialist that deal in this area that deal with adults on the spectrum. So we'll find that information out too. Okay. So hopefully you'll be. Oh, I did want to say this. This treatment is for depression. This TMS. This is for depression. It doesn't treat autism.
Right.
It's not a treatment for autism. It's not a treatment for OCD or even ADD.
Right. It's specifically for depression.
Right. Yes, that's right. So there will still be a need for you to see a psychiatrist, and there's this specialty group that's here that I'm working to get you in to see as soon as they have an availability. There was a 2-week wait, and I feel like we're in that period where we can get word any day now.
Okay,
cool. So I don't remember. It seems like I started something, and then we switched gears, and then we didn't go back to it, and I cannot remember what it was. It was something about the depression and how that feels. I think I'm not sure, but are you feeling? I did want to ask you this. This time, when you have this depression, that looks from outside looking in, it looks like it's a deeper depression. It looks like it's heavier, and
I certainly felt it more. I wouldn't call it deeper per se. I keep saying per se. It's more so that it just is affecting me more so than usual.
Mm-hmm.
And with that, it's just, I accept it and try and move forward. But most of the time, because of the depression, it makes it very difficult to move forward.
Mm-hmm. And it makes it difficult for you to concentrate?
And function.
Right. Yes.
And
maybe this is what I was going to talk about. So we talk on a regular basis about functioning.
Mm-hmm.
You know, about the need for prompts and redirects, and you know, the daily life skills. You know, that you work on that on a regular basis.
Mm-hmm.
This is very different, though. I just say, observing you, this doesn't feel like you're the absent mindedness. Yeah, it doesn't seem like that. It's not like you're. We're not talking about a lack of consistency. We're not talking about you doing something but forgetting a portion of it and needing to, be asked to come back and finish something up, or a hard time sticking to a task. We're talking about you being so uncomfortable that you're staying in bed and sleeping.
Yeah.
Which means, we're not talking about you having a hard time staying on task. There is no task that you're involved in.
Yeah.
So it's been really concerning, and I'm really grateful for this opportunity to go through this new therapy. So like I said, doctor's appointment tomorrow, then you start on Thursday.
Okay.
So hopefully we can get you some relief.
Yeah.
Yes. So everybody that's listening, I'm sorry that I missed you last week, that we didn't put out a podcast. It just really got bonkers and was stressful again, like I said, with family, especially Josh going through what he was going through and my mom going through what she was going through. It just was daunting.
Yeah.
And if you like what we do, please give us a 5-star review wherever you listen. And we really appreciate that. What that does is when you give us 5 stars, it bumps our rating up so that when people look up autism, we can be seen easier. So say you go to Google or wherever you're...
It's like the more votes and reviews we get, the more often we're seen.
Yes. And that helps us. That helps other people that are, needing or wanting something like that we do.
Yeah.
So that helps us out a lot. You can listen to us on iTunes or Spotify or YouTube. Go to my website, please. It's sonyaking.com, SONYAKING. And there's a blog that I post every week to go along with it, so check that out. We always appreciate your comments. The emails keep on coming. We just to mention a few things coming up, we do have our friend Richard to talk about being autistic and married. Have one coming up about autism and exercise. Have something coming up about autism and essential oils. So those are just a few. The focus has been lately on just getting through.
Yeah.
Getting by with this depression, with Social Security.
Yeah.
It's been crazy. The COVID stuff has really kind of made things go slower.
Yeah.
So I hope everybody out there is safe. I hope you're happy. I hope that even though you've not been able to go anywhere, that you've been finding something that's joyful and that makes you happy.
I will say this. I don't necessarily live any differently with COVID-19.
I know. I know.
I just don't go out for D&D. I play it online instead.
Right. That's funny. So that's what I was talking to somebody. They said to me, "How's Josh doing with his COVID-19?" And I said, "Well, I don't really think he's missed a step. It's as far as that goes, it hasn't affected him."
Yeah.
But the only thing that it has affected is that our getting things accomplished. Everything has to be done by phone now,
Mm.
and email, and rather than being able to go someplace. So, for example, if I'm going to turn a package in to Social Security, I'm going to go take it and hand it to somebody, and so that and have them make a copy for me,
Mm-hmm.
so that I know that they have this.
Mm-hmm.
Because I sent a package in and I heard something back from them, and they go, "Oh, we didn't even have that. We didn't even get your appeal." And I go, "Well, I'm looking at a piece of paper that you sent me right now that says,
We received
we
it.
received your appeal," and they go, "Well, we don't see it." So just stuff like that. But it has made some things like that complicated. But
Yeah.
we're all getting through. Hopefully, things are gonna ease up.
Yeah.
Everybody can get out there and get some sunshine and fresh air and
Yeah.
in a healthy way.
Yeah.
Yeah. So anyway, thank you so much, everybody, for listening. We always appreciate you, and I hope you have a great day. Love you.
Bye.